Today we're going to make gluten-free scones. What I've done so far is I've weighed out 250 grams of multi-purpose gluten-free flour, and then I've added half a teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum, and then 1 teaspoon of gluten-free baking powder. Add that all into the dry mix. 50 grams of sugar. And then what we do is we just mix that about. So I place 50 grams of mixed fruit and mixed peel into the dry mix now. 75 millilitres of milk and 1 egg. And I'm just going to crack the egg into this. And then just beat the egg into the milk. I'll put the butter into the dry mix. And I'm just going to get my hands in there and just mix that around until it's nice and smooth. Mixing that butter right the way through the flour. Now we've rubbed the butter right the way through. It's almost like to end up with a crumble style mix. We're just going to slowly add the milk and the egg. Remember, as we've said before in previous recipes, you can add but you can't take away. So just mix that in until we get to a nice dough consistency. It's not too runny, but it picks up all of the flour. We're just mixing that in a little bit at a time. The dough's come together quite nicely now. And I've floured the side, and what I've also done is lined a tray with some greaseproof paper. With the dough, we'll say to roll it. But what we do is we just put the dough down like this and just push the roller down onto it till we get to the right thickness that you want. For me, I want anywhere between 2 to 3 centimetres high. Nice big scones. So if you do smaller scones, obviously you get more scones from it. It depends on how big you want them. So I've been hunting in my kitchen and I found a few things. So I've got a couple of different sized cups there. You can use either one of those. In one of my cupboards in the kitchen I found this, which I think is a perfect size for how I want my scones. Also remember that nobody says a scone has to be round. They're your scones. So maybe you could cut square scones and that would be absolutely fine. So all I'm going to do now is just add a little bit of flour to this so it stops it sticking when I cut the scone mix. And then just right on the edge, push it down. And there's my first scone. So that's my scones cut. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put this into the fridge, allow them to firm up for about 30 minutes. Egg wash them with just some egg yolk. And then I'm going to put them into the oven on 200 to 220 degrees for 12 to 15 minutes or until they're golden brown. And that's your gluten-free scones.